Okay, so I think we're live. So guys, just let me set up my software here. It's Heather Boyd, and today I'm doing a live stream about social media for artists. I actually tried to do it on my computer and it doesn't seem to be working. So let's just see if I can actually find the live stream coming up, and I'm going to be answering all your questions about social media. So just bear with me. I'm going to see if I could see the video here and we'll be ready to go. So if you have any questions about social media, be sure to just put them in the comments there, and it's going to be much easier if I can see them. There we go. I can see it on my computer. I'm just going to turn it off. If you guys know me from YouTube, I do a lot of troubleshooting with my videos and stuff, and so I have no problem if we just do this. Okay, it's funny on the computer I see something different than what I see here. So let me know if you guys can see me. I'm going to check the comments here. You see part of my white wall on one side, but it's all good. That's no problem at all. Apparently I have to set up some kind of API key for my to do the live from my computer. If you guys know about that, just let me know in the comments. And we're going to get started. So I'm just going to have a look there. I don't see if anybody's hopping on, but I'll just get started and we'll see how it goes. So if you don't already know me, I'm a wire artist living in Montreal. I do a lot of stuff on social media to promote my business, but also to promote other people, other artists, and all that kind of thing. And so on the 12th of March, I'm giving a talk at Creator HQ, which is a association of creators in Montreal. Originally it was mostly YouTubers. Now it's anyone that's doing all kinds of social media, Instagram, all kinds of things, content creation really. And so if you are a content creator, an artist, a musician, and you want to get involved with the community, be sure to check out Creator HQ. I'll link up their links below in the comments after, and so if you're watching the replay, I'll have all the links there. And that's it. So we're gonna get started. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually trained in fine art, but I only worked for 1 year in my field of graphic art in Toronto about 30 years ago, and I quickly realized that I did not enjoy having a boss. I had a terrible boss, and so that's what got me started in this entrepreneurial path. So in 1989, I left Toronto and I came to Montreal. I didn't speak a word of French, but I just decided I wanted to start selling jewelry on the street. So I had a little collection of not even really jewelry. It was hand-painted buttons, really random stuff, very bizarre. It was obviously fate that brought me here, but so I started, I went to the city, somehow got a permit to sell jewelry on the streets of Montreal, cost me $50. And then I started selling, like going to Old Montreal, Prince Arthur, all those places. And literally I would stand there all day and sell like $3 worth of stuff. It was ridiculous. Somehow I got through the summer, and then in August I met Marc-André, who makes little wire bicycles. If you know our shop, we sell wire art and bicycles on Etsy, and so he introduced me to the medium. Loved it because I love to draw. I picked it up right away and started making stuff, and then things took off. So we started selling at craft shows. I was wholesaling to galleries across Canada, and it was really great. You know, we had a great few years. And then when all the dollar stores and the Walmarts came in, our business kind of tanked, which was really crazy. And so I did part-time jobs teaching art, all kinds of daycares, all kinds of things like that. And then when Etsy came along, I don't know if you know Etsy, but Etsy is an online shop where artists and jewelry makers can sell their work. So artists can sell prints of their work, and digital prints, all kinds of things, originals, jewelry. So I was in 2008, I joined Etsy, and I was selling for a couple of years on Etsy, just bookmarks, earrings, things like that. But I would only make 1 or 2 sales a month, like if even. And then in 2010, on a whim, I put one of Marc-André's bikes on Etsy just to see, you know, they weren't really selling outside of like anywhere anymore, like even in stores and stuff. So I put them on just on a whim, and somebody bought one of the tandem bikes. And I just went back to check out, when it was, and it was 2010, and the woman that bought the bike wrote as a comment, as a message to seller when she bought it, she wrote, and I quote, also buying this for a wedding cake, great looking cake topper, just have to add bride and groom, much cheaper than having it specially made. So when I read that, the light bulb went off, and it's like, oh my gosh, wedding cake topper. And so that's how our niche found us, thanks to the internet. Would have never thought of it myself. And so we went with it. We started like marketing our stuff as being wedding cake toppers, custom making things, being really open to requests, and the business took off. So that was really awesome. So that sort of was the beginning of things going up. And then since then, I've really gotten involved with social media to promote my business, but also to use it to promote other people, friends. I've always loved to support friends. And it's funny, I was thinking about a story a while back of when I first started really promoting other artists and friends. And it was back, oh gosh, many, many years ago when I lived downtown. And I remember I had a friend who was a photographer, and he had made some calendars of his work. And he had a whole stack of these calendars that hadn't sold at all. And I asked him if I could have a few to do some art projects with. And he was like, yeah, sure, go for it. So he gave me some calendars, and I made him some little greeting cards with them, and did some other things with them just to show him other potential products he could do with his work. And I remember when I showed him what I created with his work, he was just very resistant to do anything except his traditional photography. And that was a real eye-opener for me, just to realize that, some people aren't ready to kind of expand their horizons and do other things with their work. Like, they have a very narrow view of what they can do with their work. But I think because we're very open to doing new things with our artwork and with, suggestions from other people, I never take offense. I'm always like, oh, well, if you want me to improve this or change that, I'm really open to it. But that experience with him made me realize that not everybody is open to that. And even to this day, he really hasn't evolved with his work. He's sort of like doing the same thing, selling, downtown and stuff, but and not really, has a side job and hasn't really progressed with his work, which is fine. If that's what he wants to do, no problem. But if you do want to succeed with your art and with your work, I would say, one of my number one tips would just to be open about that. So on to social media. If you guys are on and you have any questions, be sure to type them in the comment section. If you're watching the replay, no worries. Be sure to type in any questions in the comments of the replay, and I will be sure to answer any questions you have. Reminder, this is sort of the lead up to a workshop that I'm giving at Creator HQ in Montreal on March 12th called Social Media for Artists. It's from 6 to 8 o'clock on March 12th. And if you cannot be in Montreal, not a problem at all. Or if you're on the West Island and don't want to haul your butt downtown, no problem at all. It's going to be available virtually as well, so needn't worry about that. And yeah, so I'm going to actually just see if I can share this video. I'm going to share this to the Creator HQ group. And the Creator HQ group is a group that is the creators that run this association, where we're giving all kinds of workshops and stuff. I'm not sure I can, not sure I could sell it there. Creators Montreal. Yeah, I can share it there. Sorry guys, I'm multitasking, but I just want to share this to a group. And if you guys want to share it with any artists that are interested in using social media to promote their group or to promote their art, just please do. So yeah, I'm going to start with the 3 keys to success for artists using social media. Now, I do have a PowerPoint that I've been working on because I have given this talk. Originally, this talk was a talk about YouTube for entrepreneurs. I think that was the original talk I gave at the Women's Networking Group in Montreal, and then it sort of morphed, and I did a talk at an artist association, so I changed it to social media for artists. So it didn't focus just on YouTube, it focused on all other areas of social media. And so now I'm going to really, when I do the workshop on the 12th in March, there's going to be very specifics on how you can implement social media for artists. And I see Patricia is on. Hey Patricia, how are you? And Tanya, awesome. Ponto. So guys, if you want to put any comments or what have you in the links, these are two artist friends of mine. You guys are welcome to put your links to your art pages in there to share. You know, if anybody wants to find out more about two amazing Montreal artists, that would be, it's all about sharing, right? And that is really, to me, would be my number one tip for success is collaboration and community. Actually, I have it as number two, but they're all important. It's so collaboration, community. Patricia and I have collaborated a lot on different projects. She's in some of my YouTube videos, and actually it was Patricia that invited me to speak at her artist association, so that's fantastic. And then Ponto and I are going to be collaborating soon, that's for sure. So keys to success, so let's do number one is collaboration and community. And by community, I also mean like being part of an artist community, like Patricia's a part of several artists associations. The big one that I'm a part of is the Creator HQ community, and I love that community because it's not just artists. There's a lot of artists in the group, but there's musicians, content creators, social media people, influencers, YouTubers, you name it. So if you want a cool group to go to, Tanya goes to that group, Ponto, and so much inspiration. They have monthly events. They have workshops. So that my social media for artists workshop on the 12th, and more and more, a lot of the workshops are being offered virtually. So it's definitely, even if you're not in Montreal, it's a great group to hook up with and to get some inspiration. And they have a lot of really super exciting things coming up in the new year that I can't even talk about. So that's good. So number one key, collaboration, community. Number two is, I'm going to put number two as SEO, because SEO is a very technical kind of thing, and it doesn't, you know, excite me as much as some of the other things, but it's a necessary evil, the search engine optimization. And that is, you know, using hashtags. Most people know what a hashtag is, but if you don't know what a hashtag is, it's using that little pound key, the number sign, with a word or several words, as long as the words are connected together. And basically, if you put a hashtag with your social media post, if people click that hashtag or search that hashtag, your post will be amongst that collection of posts that are categorized in that hashtag. So hashtags can be used almost anywhere, especially on Instagram for artists. Instagram, some platforms don't appreciate hashtags as much, like Pinterest, not so much, but definitely, you know, Instagram and stuff. Some people use them on Facebook. You can now use hashtags on YouTube, which is fantastic. They've just rolled that out, and that's really good. And then the @sign, which is basically you just tag someone. So say you're on Instagram and you want to tag a brand to make sure that brand gets a notification that they'll see your post. So say you're trying to promote a brand and you want them to find you and maybe even request that you represent them or something like that. That's definitely something you need to use. I'm going to go into all of this in much more detail in my talk at Creator HQ, but I'm just going to give you guys a little sort of like once over here. And then the third, well, this would be my number one tip, I guess, for social media success, is just bring value. It's hard to quantify that. It's just really always be thinking in terms of how can I help people? How can I inspire people? How can I bring value to people's life? And that's to a lot of entrepreneurs are realizing that this is really the key to success. It's not about selling your product. It's about sharing and bringing value to people, and then ultimately they will want to purchase your product because they trust you, they know you, they really they really believe in you. And it feels good, you know, like I was brought up in a family that always shared and helped, and you can consider it to be a selfish thing, which it is, because ultimately it makes you feel good, but that's really the key to success, because people are really they really trust you and really believe in what you're doing. So those are my 3 keys to success. I'll go over them again at the end. But what I wanted to do in this live stream is just give you a little rundown of some of the social media platforms that artists can use to promote their work. And I would say the number one that I like to use, but it's not really necessarily one that everybody is interested in using. But because I do a lot of DIY stuff, teaching people how to make jewelry, I love YouTube. I think YouTube's amazing. The great thing about YouTube is when you create a video and put it on YouTube, it's very highly ranked in the search engine, because YouTube and Google are kind of connected. And so if at all you're considering to do video, I would definitely consider doing videos on YouTube, because of the search engine thing. And the fun thing about YouTube is something that I've done, and anybody could do, is create your own TV show. You know, so if ever you had a dream about creating a TV show, this is a great way to go. So I have a weekly live stream that I do. It's actually tonight, called Wire Lady TV. And so I get on, I troubleshoot ideas for projects, I answer people's questions. It's like a really great little community. So that's super fun. So that's YouTube. Also with YouTube, it's fun. You can get brand deals where, say you're an artist and you're doing a little tutorial about how to use some art products. You could get approached by brands that will send you products and also pay you. Recently I was sponsored by a company called Beeducation. I'd never heard of them before. I'd always wanted to try metal stamping, and this company found me on YouTube, approached me, emailed me. Often I delete these spammy emails, but this one I had a good intuition about, so I contacted the person back, and she said, oh, we'd like you to use our products to make some videos, and we will send you product and pay you. So that was the very first time I've ever done a sponsored post. I didn't seek it out. They looked for me, they found me, and it's a great product. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually doing more videos than they asked me to do, but because I love the medium, it's really fun, and it kind of fits with the wire with what I'm doing. So you never know who might find you on YouTube, and it's really when I'm creating video, I'm creating a lot of value for people because they're learning from what I'm doing. So and I love to teach, so that's great. And then the other social media platform for artists, super important, Facebook. A lot of people, moved away from Facebook for a while, but Facebook is super, super powerful in getting your things out there. 4 different areas of Facebook to keep in mind. One is, of course, your personal page. If you want it to be personal, be sure to keep it private. I actually have a you need a personal page to be able to create the other pages. I really don't post anything personal on Facebook anymore. I've even heard of people that have created private family groups on Facebook so they can share private family stuff, because I find that everybody, is friending friends of friends and all that stuff. So I really don't post super personal things on Facebook anymore. But I mostly on my personal page, I'll share events, because Facebook is amazing for events, and not only just for sharing events that you know about, but if you want to search events, like often I'll search for events. I love to go to live comedy, so I'll search live comedy events, art events. I was looking for something for Chinese brush stroke painting, like a class. And I searched Facebook for events, Chinese brushstroke painting, and I found an event just randomly one time, and it's a weekly event. So now, thanks to Facebook, I found this event, so I go often, and it's super interesting. You could find vernissages. So Facebook events, not only to find events to go to, but when you, as an artist, have an event, definitely create a Facebook event page for that, because you can easily get found. In fact, I remember 2 summers ago, my daughter Mimi, who's a doll photographer, created an event page for a meetup that she was having at the American Girl store to meet up with fellow American Girl collectors. And so she made an event page for her meetup in Edmonton, and she was approached by the Edmonton Examiner for an article in the newspaper, because often journalists will search Facebook for events. So as an artist, if you're doing any kind of event, even like, say, launching a new show or something, even if it's not a particular vernissage, but definitely I would say event pages on Facebook are super, super interesting for artists. And then, of course, your business page. Everybody should have an artist business page. And be sure to write on your personal account that you work at, and then that business page, so people can get to it easily, and then put links to your website and all that. And on the business page, sharing not just your work, not just your events, but inspirational stuff as well, because they talk about this 80-20 rule. So like 80% of what you share should be inspirational, educational, and then 20% should be selling. So you really shouldn't always just be selling your work, but you should definitely be, inspiring people at the same time. Otherwise, people are going to get sick of your posts on your page. And then the other thing that I've done recently, which has been super interesting, is I created a private Facebook group, and that is very interesting because you have you can ask the new members questions to make sure that they're actually a fit for the group. You don't have to accept random people into your group. And what I've done is I made a Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club Facebook group, and to really create community. And it's not for selling my stuff. In fact, I have in big bold letters, no selling in the group. It's for really inspiring each other, creating brand awareness so people become aware of who you are and what you do. And then I post links to my DIY videos, and often people will do the project on the videos, and then they'll share photos of what they've created. And, they share photos of their own creation, like different mediums than what I do as well, as long as it's wire related. And that group, I didn't have any huge, idea about how many people would join the group, but I started just a few months ago, and we already have 600 members, because Facebook promotes groups, and people will search for groups, and they'll find, if your group is titled in a way that it interests people, you can get a huge snowball effect and get a lot of people in your group, and just get people talking about you. And that's what it's all about, the social media, is just to get people to talk about you, which is very, very cool. So that's Facebook. And then Twitter, all I'm going to say about Twitter, I'll go into more of it on my in my social media for artists workshop, is a few months ago, Mimi, my daughter, who does the doll photography, she always shares her work on Twitter. I always retweet it and all this stuff. So I just want to say that a few months ago, she made a tweet, and about, it was a city, I think it was her doll in Montreal, or in a city scene. I forget which one it was, but she tweeted out a collection of her photos from one of her photo shoots. And she was approached by Journal Metro for an article. So they did an article about her it was on Facebook and on YouTube and in print. And from that, she got interviews with CBC, City News, and CGAD. Plus, was featured on podcasts with Natalie Maillot called Master Your Authentic Voice, and in the Creator HQ podcast. So from one tweet, she got six media features. So it's pretty incredible. So in my workshop, I'm going to tell you how she did that. Pretty insane. So like really with social media, it's such a strong, it's such a strong platform, and it's just, you know, they talk about 6 degrees of separation. Well, it's almost like there's like 1 degree of separation now. You could reach anybody anywhere in the world. It's very amazing. So next, Instagram for artists, that's a no-brainer. Instagram's a very visual platform. You can do posts. And the good thing about Instagram, there's not a lot of like sidebars and all that stuff to distract you. So you can make a nice little gallery on Instagram to share your work. So you can do posts. They have something called stories, which is they last for 24 hours. In fact, Facebook has stories now as well. I haven't really used them, but they do have stories. And so you can, so they do stories, and they have some, you could put video and still photos. In fact, even in your posts, you can put up to 9 images on one post, and people can scroll through them. And you can even mix photos and video, which I didn't know, which is really cool. And then they also have something called IGTV. Now, IGTV hasn't super taken off yet. If you guys have any tips about IGTV, I'd love to hear about it. But IGTV is sort of to kind of competition YouTube, I guess. Disadvantage of IGTV is the video has to be vertical. There are apps where you can transfer a horizontal video to a vertical format to fit on IGTV. And so I've sometimes post videos on IGTV. I haven't really explored it, but I think a lot of people do use it. And then live streams on Instagram are super interesting. In fact, you can do a dual live stream where you share the screen with someone else, and so that dual live stream will reach your followers and their followers. So that's super interesting. And then Pinterest, of course. So Pinterest for artists, it's great. It's visual. You can create boards. You can create private boards if you want to just put collections of work that inspire you. And the great thing about Pinterest, you know, say you want to post a picture of your work or your work in context or however you want to do it. But if the person clicks the image, they'll go directly to either your website or to your shop where you sell that work. So that's super interesting, the Pinterest as well. And then of course there's still LinkedIn, which is actually a lot more functional than it used to be. I do share my stuff on LinkedIn as well. Patreon is a whole nother subject, like crowdfunding for artists. There will be a workshop about Patreon at the Creator HQ in a couple of months, so look out for that one too, because Patreon is a very interesting platform for artists as well. I won't be talking about it in my talk, but if you do have any questions about it, feel free to ask me. I did have a Patreon account, and I did have a few patrons for a while, but I found personally for me it wasn't something I wanted to put my energy into, because I wasn't able to sort of develop enough of a fan base that wanted to support me on that platform. But I find some of the other platforms are much better. So if you guys are still watching, if you have any comments or questions, I would love it if you would just like post any comments and questions. And maybe Patricia and Tanya, if you want to let me know your experience, if you have any tips. I know, Tanya, you're super active on with Ponto, with your posts on Instagram, and I think you do Twitter, and I know Tanya has a group too called Ponto Fan Club, I think it is, and it's really fun because I'll just, Tanya, if you don't mind, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what you do. So Tanya has a web comic that it's the Adventures of the Orange Cone in Montreal. So Ponto is the name of the orange cone, a cute little stylized construction cone. Of course, Montreal is known for its crazy construction, especially now with the Turcotte Exchange and the bridges and stuff. So she'd made some little plush stuffed Ponto little doll things, and so she sells the stuffed dolls, and then people will bring Ponto all over the world and take photos of Ponto in different cities, and they'll post it in the fan club. And I think people also post pictures of orange cones, random orange cones all over the world. But it's super fun because she's created this community around this concept of the orange cone, and people really feel a part of the community, which is really, it's really what you want to capture, to really bring people into your world and really inspire people and make them feel like they're a part of their community. And that's what I find with the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, is people really feel like they belong to this community. It's a very supportive group, and everybody values each other, what they make, and it's great because it actually inspires new designs, new ideas. It really keeps things fresh and interesting, which I really like. And it becomes not all about the artists, all about what the artist wants to do and what the artist, this fixed idea. Like I was telling the story before about my photographer friend, it's more about opening up to the universe and being open to ideas and inspiration, really collaborations. I would find, I think one of my number one reasons why, say, my YouTube channel took off is from collaborating. I did a lot of collaborating with other people. I was just like really open and taking requests. I think that's for sure for Etsy. Like that was why we were successful on Etsy, is because people would ask me to make something, and at first I might think, oh my God, I can't do that. There's no way. I would never express it, but in my head I'd be thinking, I'm not going to be able to do this. And then, the more I would look into ways, into solutions of ideas, how to do it. Recently, I had a classic example of a project like that. This woman messaged me and said, oh, we like your stuff, but we're not sure if you can do something for us. She said, my boyfriend and I want a wedding cake topper of us standing in a wine barrel, like the kind that goes over the Niagara Falls. And she says, oh, and I want to be able to do the I love you sign, and I want my boyfriend to be doing the rock on sign. And I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. First of all, their figures are really super small, so doing the hand signs is going to be like super tricky. Doing a barrel out of wire is going to be like super impossible. But I didn't tell her that. I could have easily said, no, I can't do that. It's not going to work. But I said, okay, let me think about it. And so I thought about it, and then I had sort of a flash of an idea to make the barrel out of embossed metal, to make it more solid looking, because what we do with wire, we're a little restricted with what we can do. And so I had some old embossing metal from when I was teaching art at La Palette many years ago, that we used to do an embossing project with the kids. And so I did this wire barrel, and I took the metal and I embossed it, and then I put it inside the barrel, and then I finished that, and I did the figures. And no, at that point I think I just did the barrel, and it looked really cheap. I didn't like the way it looked. It didn't look good at all. But I said, you know what, I'll just take a picture of it. I did one like that, and then I did one that was sort of like a spiral thing, and I did put the figures in. That's right, I did put the figure. I took pictures of them, and even though it was crap, it was really cheap looking. I sent her a picture, and I said, look, I'm working on these designs. I'm going to keep working on it. And then she gave me a couple of suggestions of what she would. I'd put their names on it too, and it wasn't really, you couldn't read them very well and stuff. So I asked her, what if she wanted me to try some other things, and she's like, yeah. So I went back, and then often as things happen, you go to sleep, and then you get an idea in the middle of the night or whatever. I woke up in the next morning, I'm like, oh, I think I know how to do this. So I decided to do the names in a little separate heart, so that was good. And then for the barrel, I'm trying to think what I did. Oh, I had an idea to do just little, make it with several pieces of wire instead of one. So I did like 2 circles with little loops, and then I attached it vertical wires to it to create kind of a barrel. I think I'll link it up in the description, in the comments below after the live stream, so you guys can see it. So I did that. I took the figures. So I take Mark's little wire figures that he uses, and we always, you know, transform them into wedding cake toppers. So I took a couple of the little figures, and I actually cut off their hands, because he makes like just very stylized hands out of wire. So I cut the hands off, and I created like the hands, doing the hand signs out of a thinner gauge wire, so like a very thin wire. So I made the hand, and then I like wound it on to where I cut off the poor couple's hands and did the signs. And I was like, this is not gonna work, this is not gonna look very good, but I tried it, you know, why not? Just try it, you've got nothing to lose. And it turned out friggin' amazing. I was really, really happy, and just happy that I took my time with it, and that I, you know, communicated with the client to make sure, you know, that I was on the right track and stuff. And she was really encouraging. So just an example of how you can go with, you know, an idea that you might not think works at first, which is often the case with my stuff. So and then it turns out great. So being really open to your clients and to what people want, and being open to suggestion, I think it's always a great thing. Yeah. So anyways, guys, I'm not quite sure how long I've been on the live stream. I think it's been a while. I don't think we have any comments, which is, no, I don't think, wait, small section. No, I don't see any comments here, guys. So if you have any questions or comments after the live stream, no problem, just write them in the comments there, and I'll answer your questions. Be sure to check out the workshop at Creator HQ. I'm going to put a link to the workshop below. It's on March 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Creator HQ, which is just a few blocks away from the Mont-Royal metro station. So you can go in person to the workshop. That would be amazing. If you can't make it in person, be sure to check it out. The virtual, you could attend virtually. And Creator HQ also has a loyalty program. So you can do 5, normally workshops are $35 each. Virtually, I think it's $20. But if you want to go to live workshops, if you want to go to 5 live workshops, you can get a loyalty card for $100. That's good for 5 workshops. And they have some amazing workshops on all different subjects relating to content creating, social media, all kinds of things for entrepreneurs. So be sure to check that out. I'll put it in the link below. And thank you guys for who stayed on the live stream. And we'll definitely talk to everybody super soon. And thanks for watching.